Hi everyone, and welcome to this brief introduction to Doctrine of Impracticability. This is a good time for us to get acquainted with this doctrine because it will be on one of the exams, I believe the next exam, and it applies to excuses or doctrines that you can use to excuse performance. And this is a case that you will be studying. So impracticability refers to excuses pertaining to performance to perform. Right? And basically it says when the duty becomes expensive or unfeasibly difficult for the party who required to perform, there can exist an occurrence of a condition that we can excuse the performance because it's difficult or expensive. So this is about Maple Farms Inc. versus City School District of the City of Elmira, New York. This case is about Maple Farms, and they're a milk company, and they signed a contract with the city school district to supply milk at a very specific price. The United States Department of Agriculture controls the price of raw milk at the farm. So the agreement was a requirements contract, which they would sell to the school district all the milk the district required at a fixed price. Now, in December of '73, the price of raw milk had increased 23% over the price specified in the contract. This means if they were to fulfill it, Maple Farms would stand to lose $7,300. They had other contracts with school districts, so they stood to lose a great deal. And they argued that the substantial increase in the price of raw milk was an event not contemplated by the parties when the contract was formed. Thus, performance was commercially impracticable. So what does this doctrine require? It's something unexpected must have occurred. And the risk of the unexpected occurrence must not have been allocated either by an agreement or a custom. So the very purpose of the contract was to guard against the fluctuation of the price of milk for the school budget. I mean, they wanted to lock in a price so that they didn't have to worry about what they were going to pay, and they could manage that budget, that allocation. If we argue that the price of milk could have fallen substantially, would the defendant be excused from performance? This is a good question. So let's remember, who is the defendant? City school district. So could they argue that they could argue they could go back and renegotiate the contract for a lower price? So here was a decision. Oops, excuse me. Bumped my mouse. Maple Farms, they sought to terminate the contract to supply milk at a set price. And that's because the price went up. The grounds for termination were based on legal impossibility, and the school district could cancel the contract. The New York trial court ruled that inflation and fluctuating prices did not render performance impracticable in this case, and granted summary judgment in favor of the school district. Meaning they said, hey, too bad, so sad, Maple Farms, that's just what happens. The impact on today's law. This case is a classic illustration of the UCC's commercial impracticability doctrine as courts still apply it today. Under this doctrine, the increased cost alone does not excuse performance unless the rise in cost is due to some unforeseen contingency that alters the essential nature of the performance. So in this particular case, Maple Farms had to prove that there was some sort of unforeseen contingency that altered it. And they were not able to do that. Thus, the ruling was that the New York trial court ruled that inflation and fluctuating prices did not render performance, which is why we asked the question in the previous slide: if the price went down, could the city or could the school district go back and argue, hey, we need a lower price for this contract because prices unforeseeably sank? So this is a quick overview on Maple Farms versus City School, and will be on your quiz. So enjoy, study some more of it, and understand the mechanics of the doctrine of impracticability. Thanks for joining me.